High Spots and Cheap Pops presents your moment in the Valley. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the Silicon One, Steve Valli. And I want to thank you so much for checking this video out. And I want to thank you. Hey, hit the subscribe button if you like what you see, you like what we're talking about. This is, of course, talking the world of professional wrestling. And I want to talk a couple of things that I was super happy about last night on Dynamite, and I was super disappointed with about last night on Dynamite. First of all, you saw it at the top of the show, Ruby Soho having the promo of her career. And this is what this feud needed, folks. I know I personally have at times been very, very critical of Ruby Soho. The fact of the matter is I think she's been wasted. I don't think she's been booked right. And then when she's gotten her opportunities, I don't think she's made the most of it. This was perfect. The heel turn is what she needed, and it's what this feud needed. Because at this point in time, I didn't really know. I assumed, but you want to know. You want to hear the characters convey why they're pissed off, why they're doing what they're doing. I don't think that's been conveyed correctly by Saraya and Toni Storm. Ruby Soho in one promo came out there, made a case for all three women to be pissed off and to be the dicks that they're going to be now and take it out on the rest of the little shits, I believe she called them, in the back locker room. Ruby Soho, fantastic job. Nothing but bravo from me. I don't know what Vladdy Dotty's feeling right now, but I'm telling you right, this was a game changer, not only for the storyline, folks, it was a game changer for Ruby Soho's career. This was honestly the most compelling thing I've ever seen her do in AEW. And it's great. Ruby, keep that shit up, girl.
Fat, neck-bearded, mouth-breathing troll.
And I did, I'm kind of mouth breather. Neck beard, fat. Never mind. Fuck Ruby Soho. We got over to the other thing I really, really enjoyed. The Bryan Danielson promo, folks. I tweeted this a little while ago. The fact remains is Bryan Danielson, despite only being in the main event of the pay-per-view, I believe, one time this past Sunday, Bryan Danielson has, to me, put the best run of his career I have ever seen in terms of storylines, in terms of matches, in terms of everything. Now, I know people are going to say, well, what about WrestleMania 30, the Yes Movement, all that? That was amazing. That was, in terms of storylines, great. However, it could have been a lot better if they booked it right. There is an old video of a guy by the name of TJ Duddy, or The Reality of Wrestling, who went off after Batista won that Royal Rumble, but that's a story for another time. The reason I say this is, folks, look at the resume AEW's Bryan Danielson has put together. Let's not forget, he had a 30-minute draw with Kenny Omega that was one of the greatest matches ever. He just had an Iron Man match with MJF, which is one of the greatest matches ever of any era, at any time, both matches. Not to mention the great feud he had with Hangman Adam Page. Not to mention the Moxley stuff. Not to mention the stuff about the Blackpool Combat Club. Bryan Danielson has put together such an incredible run, and I don't think enough people are talking about it. So my hat is not even on, but Bryan Danielson, it would be tipping to you, holy shit, you have been absolutely incredible. He has fastly become my very favorite wrestler, and I don't say that lightly. Kenny Omega, great segue, who was my favorite wrestler for a very long time. And folks, I have never been so fucking disappointed to see the Elite than I was last night. The JAS. All right, there are trios now. Okay, cool. Jericho's going to try to do part of that. Okay. Calls out the House of Black. Okay, good first feud for the House of Black to continue their momentum. House of Black aren't losing these titles anytime soon, in my opinion. Lights go out, and then Carry On My Wayward Son. Nobody wanted to see the Elite right there. There is not a goddamn person on this planet. That's a lie. I'm sure there were some people. But nobody wanted to see the Elite come out there. Nobody. And it's not because they suck. It's not because no one wants to see them. It's not because... Why did I say because so differently those two times? It's not because no one wanted to see them. It's not because people hate them. It's because fuck, we're over them in the trios. We're over it. We want to see storylines, compelling storylines on top of really good matches. Because so far, all they're giving us is really good matches. Okay. I need to care about what Kenny Omega is doing. And look, I always enjoy their matches, so I'm not going to shit on their matches and be one of those guys. They always, whatever. I'm not doing that. I love a Young Bucks match, and I love a Kenny Omega match, and their triples matches are always good. But the reality is, we need Kenny Omega going up against MJF. That's what we need. We need to see that. So I hope this feud isn't going to last long. And then when FTR beats the Guns, we need the Bucks and FTR to finally have that moment that they should have had almost 2 years ago. Get the Elite out of the Trios division for a while. Let somebody else have it. And give it to... come on. Does Jericho need to be part of that? Seriously, does his career need that? Does he need that accolade? Or is this just something to keep him going? That's another question, but I'm going to save that conversation with me and Vladi Dottie. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, because I wanted to save a lot of this with Vladi Dottie and I when we get together this weekend. Video will drop on Saturday. The last thing I wanted to talk about briefly was MJF. Folks, here's the reality. I said this.
MJF, you're burning out. And WWE will put you on NXT as a manager in 3 seconds if you don't start being more entertaining and prove that you can carry this ball and run with it. Because so far, not so good.
Fat, neck-bearded, mouth-breathing trolls.
Well, Ruby's right. Because, folks, since that time, just a couple things MJF has done. He has had a couple of just tremendous matches, one with Takeshita. And then, of course, he had one of the greatest matches of all time, the Iron Man match with Bryan Danielson this past weekend. That's just what he did in the ring. And when doing it, he's showing how fucking amazing he is when he can wrestle. I don't know how a guy who never wrestles that regularly can be that good. Always sharp, always at his best. That's how good he's been. But since then, I told him, hey, you heard what I said. Give me more, whatever. And so I don't think by any stretch of the imagination did MJF see me say that? And then he's like, oh, I better up my game. But either way, he has shut me up. Because not only did he admit to a felony involving Liv Morgan giving him some help while he was driving really fast, that whole thing, and then switching spots so she would get in trouble if it was Liv Morgan. He certainly alluded to that. Wink, wink. Hashtag sorry. And absolutely has had arguably the best 4 weeks of his career in terms of just being a dick, in terms of bringing real credibility to his title reign. So MJF, wow. That was a moment that I think Hangman was trying to get with Adam Page, and Hangman just never had this seminal moment of what MJF did. This is the difference between Hangman and MJF. See, don't forget, neither one of those guys were monster stars until they became AEW. In AEW. Hangman was a mid-carder everywhere else he was, as great as he was, but you know he was the chosen when he was part of the Elite. And MJF, everyone loved to hate or hates or whatever the case may be. He was also a guy that was homegrown. And you understand now that MJF is just again, he is not only is he a generational talent, I've said it before and said it again, he's the most perfect wrestler I've ever seen. And that's why I love what I've seen. So thank you for shutting me the fuck up, Max. I am a
Fat, neck-bearded, mouth-breathing troll.
Yes, thank you, Ruby. We've heard it a couple times already today. Thank you so much, folks. We have actually increased our subscribers, and look, we don't really know what we're doing. We're not going to pretend like we do. I am self-taught at editing, clearly. We don't know what microphones to use. We just haven't been professional because we both have tons of children, and we have houses and wives who need pleasuring, and the pleasuring is just on and on and on and on and on. They never give me a break. Anyway, thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you're new, we want to thank you so much. We can't do it. It feels so good, even though I know a lot of people would laugh at 108 subscribers. You guys are the beginning of something that we're really trying to build. We've been going for about a year and a half and not really knowing, but we've really only been going for a couple months to where we're doing this regularly and we're trying to really put our best foot forward. So we want to thank each and every one of you who was part of that. I cannot tell you how much it means to me. And now that we're getting some interactions and some Twitter interactions and our Facebook is starting to grow a bit, it's just a really gratifying feeling, even though it's a little bit. Let's all be kind to each other. This is Steve Valli for High Spots and Cheap Pops here in the lesson.
And please hit that subscribe button and share it. Have a fantastic day. We'll catch you next time on High Spots and Cheap Pops.